Part 1. Understanding Population Geography. 1. Definition, scope, and development of population geography. Definition. Population geography is a subdiscipline of human geography that studies the spatial distribution, growth, and movement of human populations. It analyzes how population dynamics interact with geography, influencing and being influenced by environmental, economic, and social factors. Scope. Examines population distribution patterns across various geographic regions. Explores relationships between population and resources. Investigates the impact of population growth, migration, and demographics on development and planning. Development. Originated as a branch of geography influenced by demography. Evolved through studies on migration, fertility, mortality, and urbanization in the mid-20th century. Modern approaches integrate data science, GIS, and ecological concerns to better understand population dynamics globally. 2 data sources, primary and secondary. Primary data, collected directly from surveys, censuses, interviews, or fieldwork. Secondary data, extracted from previously published sources like government reports, international organization publications, e.g. UN, WHO, and academic journals. Errors in data, sampling errors, misreporting or non-response errors in censuses, inconsistent definitions and methodologies across countries or regions. Would you like to proceed to the next section or elaborate further on this part? Errors in data in population geography. Errors in population data can significantly impact the accuracy of analyses and interpretations. These errors are categorized as follows. 1. Sampling errors. Occur when a sample used for data collection does not accurately represent the entire population. Can lead to biased conclusions if certain groups are overrepresented or underrepresented. Example, a household survey conducted in urban areas might not capture rural population characteristics. 2. Misreporting errors result from incorrect or inaccurate responses by individuals during data collection. Common issues include underreporting of sensitive topics, e.g., age, income, or exaggeration of certain data points. Example, people might misstate their age or occupation during a census. 3. Non-response errors happen when certain individuals or groups fail to respond to surveys or censuses. Leads to missing data, which may skew the results. Example, migrant populations or marginalized groups might be undercounted due to lack of accessibility or mistrust in the process. 4. Inconsistent definitions and standards. Variations in definitions or measurement methods across regions or countries can lead to discrepancies. Example, different countries may define urban areas differently, affecting comparisons of urbanization levels. 5. Data processing errors. Mistakes made during the compilation, analysis, or digitization of data. Example, typographical errors or incorrect coding of data during entry. 6. Coverage errors. Arise when parts of the population are systematically excluded or double counted in the data collection process. Example, homeless populations or nomadic groups might be excluded from national censuses. 7. Temporal errors. Occur when data collection is not synchronized with rapid changes in population dynamics, leading to outdated information. Example, migration flows or natural disasters might drastically alter population distribution after a census is conducted. Mitigating these errors requires robust survey designs, standardized methodologies, and advanced data verification techniques. Part 2. Approaches to population geography. Population geography utilizes various theoretical and methodological approaches to study population dynamics. Here are 3 key approaches. 1. Trewartha's approach. Focus. Emphasizes the interrelationship between population and geography. Trewartha proposed that population geography should focus on understanding the spatial variations of population characteristics, such as distribution, density, and composition. Key elements. Analysis of physical and cultural factors affecting population distribution. Study of demographic attributes like fertility, mortality, and migration. 2. Hegerstrand's approach. Focus. Spatial diffusion and migration. Hegerstrand introduced the concept of spatial diffusion to study how innovations, ideas, or population movements spread geographically. Key elements. Migration patterns and their impact on population distribution, the role of time-space convergence in population dynamics. Emphasis on geographic factors influencing the spread of people or ideas. Zelinsky's approach. Focus, demographic transition, and mobility. Zelinsky developed the mobility transition theory, which links demographic transition stages with changes in migration patterns. Key elements. Early stages of demographic transition are characterized by limited mobility. Advanced stages see increased urbanization, emigration, and international migration. Highlights the relationship between economic development and population movement. These approaches provide complementary perspectives for analyzing the interactions between population and geographic factors, aiding in the understanding of complex demographic phenomena. Would you like a detailed exploration of any specific approach? Part 3. Special aspects of population geography. Population geography examines unique factors that shape the characteristics and dynamics of populations. Two key aspects are: 1. Determinants of population geography. These are the factors influencing population distribution, density, and composition. They include physical determinants, climate. Favorable climates attract more population, e.g. temperate zones, while extreme climates, e.g. deserts, polar regions, discourage settlement. Topography. Flat and fertile plains support agriculture and urbanization, whereas mountains and rugged terrains restrict population growth. Resources. Areas rich in natural resources like minerals, water, and fertile soil often have higher population densities. Cultural and socioeconomic determinants. Economic opportunities. Urban and industrial areas attract people seeking jobs and better livelihoods. Cultural factors. Historical and religious significance of a place can influence population settlement, e.g. Varanasi in India, Mecca in Saudi Arabia. Political stability. Regions with political stability tend to have higher populations, while conflict zones often experience population decline due to migration. 2. Redistribution of population. Redistribution refers to the changes in population density and spatial patterns over time due to internal and external factors. Migration. Movement of people from one place to another for economic, social, or political reasons significantly alters population distribution. Urbanization. The shift of population from rural to urban areas leads to dense urban centers and sparsely populated rural areas. Government policies. Programs like land reforms, resettlement schemes, or urban planning influence the redistribution of population. These special aspects highlight how various factors shape and transform population patterns across regions. Should I proceed to the next part? Political stability does influence population dynamics, but its effects vary depending on the country and its specific historical, social, and economic context. Let's examine its impact in the cases of India, Bangladesh, and China. Harshnar 1. India. Political stability. India has been a stable democracy since independence in 1947, despite challenges like regional conflicts and political upheavals. Population effects. Stability has fostered economic growth, urbanization, and infrastructure development, attracting internal migration towards cities and industrial hubs. However, regional instability, e.g. insurgencies in the northeast or Kashmir, has caused localized population displacement. India's population continues to grow significantly due to socioeconomic and cultural factors rather than political instability. 2. Bangladesh. Political stability. Bangladesh has experienced political challenges, including coups, political violence, and governance issues, especially in its early years after independence in 1971. Population effects. Despite periods of political instability, population growth remained high due to cultural factors like early marriage and limited access to education and contraception in earlier decades. In recent years, improved governance, economic development, and stability have contributed to reduced fertility rates and better migration policies. 3. China. Political stability. China's centralized, authoritarian governance has ensured strong political stability, especially since the late 20th century under the Communist Party. Population effects. Stability allowed the government to implement strict population control measures like the one-child policy, 1979 to 2015, which significantly slowed population growth. Economic growth fueled by political stability attracted rural to urban migration, creating megacities like Shanghai and Beijing. Ethnic tensions and policies in regions like Xinjiang have led to localized population displacement, but this is not reflective of broader population trends. Comparison and insights. In politically stable countries like China, government policies play a decisive role in shaping population patterns, e.g., migration, fertility rates. For India and Bangladesh, political stability has influenced urbanization and economic migration, but cultural and economic factors have had a stronger effect on population growth and distribution. Conclusion. While political stability creates conditions for economic and demographic planning, its direct impact on population trends is often secondary to cultural, socioeconomic, and policy-driven factors in these countries. Political instability typically has more localized or temporary effects on population distribution. Part 4. Patterns of population distribution. Population distribution refers to how people are spread across a geographic area, influenced by biological, social, occupational, and settlement factors. Here are the key patterns. 1. Biological factors. Age. Certain regions may have younger populations, e.g., urban areas with job opportunities, while others have older populations, e.g., rural or retirement zones. Sex. Gender ratios vary due to migration, cultural practices, or natural imbalances in birth rates. For example, male-dominated migration may lead to skewed gender ratios in urban areas. Race. Ethnic groups often cluster due to historical, cultural, or political reasons, creating ethnic enclaves in some regions. Part 2. Social factors, marital status. Population clusters can form based on family structures. For instance, single individuals may concentrate in urban centers, while families often settle in suburban or rural areas. Language. Linguistic groups often cluster geographically due to cultural ties or migration patterns, e.g., French-speaking regions in Canada. Religion. Religious significance of a location can influence population density, such as pilgrimage sites, e.g., Mecca, Varanasi. Education. Highly educated populations may concentrate in metropolitan regions with better employment opportunities. Heading 3. Occupational factors. Income. Wealthier individuals or groups often settle in urban or suburban areas with better facilities, while low-income populations may live in densely packed, less developed zones. Employment. Regions with more employment opportunities, e.g., industrial hubs, IT parks, attract workers, creating urban agglomerations. 4. Settlement patterns. Rural-urban residence. Rural areas. Populations here depend on agriculture or natural resources. Population density is typically low due to limited economic opportunities. Urban areas. High population density due to industrialization, better services, and employment opportunities. Urban sprawl and the rise of megacities characterize modern urbanization. Rural-urban migration. Movement from rural to urban areas significantly alters population patterns, driven by better livelihoods and education in cities. These factors collectively shape the spatial distribution of populations, creating diverse demographic patterns across regions. Would you like me to proceed to Part 5? Part 5, World Population Growth. World population growth examines how the human population has changed over time and the differences in growth patterns between the Western and Eastern worlds. Here's an overview. 1. Patterns in the Western world. Historical trends. The Western world, e.g., Europe, North America, experienced rapid population growth during the Industrial Revolution, 18th to 19th centuries, due to improved agriculture, medical advancements, and economic development. Fertility rates began declining in the late 19th and early 20th centuries with urbanization, women's education, and access to contraception. Modern growth. Today, Western countries are in the final stages of the demographic transition model, DTM, characterized by low birth and death rates. Population growth is either stagnant or negative in many regions, e.g., Japan, parts of Europe, with aging populations becoming a significant concern. Migration. Immigration plays a critical role in sustaining population growth in many Western countries. Item number 2, patterns in the Eastern world. Historical trends. The Eastern world, e.g., Asia, Africa, historically had high fertility rates, with growth driven by agrarian economies and large family structures. Mortality rates declined significantly in the 20th century due to improvements in healthcare, sanitation, and nutrition, leading to population booms. Modern growth. Many Eastern countries are in the middle stages of the DTM, with high but gradually declining fertility rates. Countries like India and Bangladesh still experience significant population growth, while China's growth has slowed due to policies like the one-child policy, now replaced. Urbanization. Rapid urbanization is a key driver of population redistribution in the Eastern world, creating megacities like Mumbai, Dhaka, and Shanghai. Hammer 3. Key differences between Western and Eastern patterns. Population growth rates. Western countries, slow or negative growth rates. Eastern countries, higher growth rates, though declining in some regions. Demographic composition. Western populations are aging, with a high dependency ratio. Eastern populations are younger, with a larger proportion in the working age group. Economic impacts. Western countries face challenges of maintaining economic growth with aging populations. Eastern countries benefit from a demographic dividend, but face challenges related to resource allocation and urban infrastructure. 4. Global implications. Resource demand. Rapid growth in the Eastern world puts pressure on natural resources, infrastructure, and services. Population redistribution. Migration from the Eastern to the Western world is reshaping global population patterns. Sustainability concerns. Balancing population growth and resource consumption is a major global challenge. This analysis highlights how historical, cultural, and economic factors contribute to differing population growth patterns in the Western and Eastern worlds. Would you like further details on any of these points? One, population and climate change. Rapid population growth contributes significantly to climate change through increased carbon emissions, deforestation, and energy demands. Densely populated urban areas like Dhaka, Mumbai, and Shanghai see amplified environmental impacts, including rising temperatures and resource depletion. With urban expansion, such cities emit more greenhouse gases due to industrialization, transportation, and energy use. Mark 2. Unlivable big cities and air quality. Air quality in major cities reveals how urbanization and overpopulation strain environmental health. Dhaka one of the worst, with PM 2.5 levels consistently above safe limits, 230 plus AQI. Mumbai and Kolkata, moderate pollution, often around 150 AQI. Shanghai, marginally better but still unhealthy, 82 AQI. New York City, relatively better, averaging 40 to 50 AQI within acceptable limits. Source IQ Air, DEC 2024. These levels make Dhaka and other South Asian cities among the most polluted globally, with severe health implications. 3. Size comparison. Dhaka, population 22 Menon, area 306 km², very dense. Mumbai, population 20 Mem, area 603 km. Kolkata, population 14.8 Mets, area 205 km. Shanghai, population 25 Mers, area 6,340 km, much lower density. New York City, population 8.8 Menders, area says 183 kilometers, even lower density. Smaller cities with better urban planning like New York generally offer healthier living conditions. 4. Scientific predictions on climate change. Climate experts predict a rise in global temperatures by 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius by 2100, exacerbating droughts, floods, and extreme weather. Overpopulated areas, particularly in South Asia, will face severe consequences such as water scarcity, food insecurity, and climate migration. 5. Strain on resources. Due to overpopulation. Overpopulation depletes natural resources like water, energy, and arable land. Urban regions in South Asia, especially Dhaka and Mumbai, are already struggling with housing, sanitation, and clean water access, making sustainable development challenging. This highlights the urgent need for policies addressing urban planning, renewable energy adoption, and climate mitigation strategies. For further insights, refer to sources like the World Bank and IQ Air for data on air quality and urbanization impacts. 23. Source. Foreigner source